For the second time in 3 years, the Champions League final will be an all-England affair with Man City and Chelsea. And we are going to be talking about how the Premier League has taken over European football, how long it will last for, and just in general, are we just being biased?
Are we just being biased? Yeah.
Are we just being biased?
Rule Britannia in Europe. No, I mean, based off what we're starting to see, especially in the last couple of years or so, I genuinely think that we're entering a period of an era where English teams are going to start dominating the European competitions. I think it's padding to go that way. I mean, we've seen it for the last 10 years or so. It's been Spanish clubs that have been dominating this competition.
Yeah,
I think it's England's time now with the clubs coming through and the way they're set up and run.
I mean, we've definitely got the players. We have the managers. We have the big name managers now with Klopp and Guardiola.
Tuchel.
Okay, and Tuchel. Okay, you're happy now.
Yeah, I'm happy. If it's not obvious, I am a Chelsea fan. But the most important thing you missed there, though, Dill, is the money.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, the money.
We have the money.
And
it's not like, I mean, obviously you can look at it from and be very, these clubs are just getting taken over by countries and states and
princes,
and princes and kings and all that. But I think there is a lot more to it than just them being taken over by rich owners. I genuinely think the Premier League has done a fantastic job of really making the league itself the best products in club football.
No, I definitely agree. I agree with that. Even if you look at like the smaller teams like Everton and Leicester, they're getting backers as well, just because I feel like investors see the potential of these clubs just by how loyal the fan base is. And just how big the international fans are as well. Like we had to talk about how many international fans like Chelsea have, like all the big six, and like I said, like Leicester and all of that. It's crazy just how much support Premier League teams have around the world. Yeah,
I mean it's a global audience, and that is literally because though the way the Premier League's run, the first thing to focus on here is the TV distribution with the revenue. You look at all the other top clubs. Barca, Real Madrid and sort of Atletico just take such a massive percentage of TV revenue for La Liga. It's a similar situation with the old Italian clubs. And then you look at the Prem, everyone gets an equal share of the TV money. And obviously now it's at such a ridiculous amount that it's generated through the Premier League's TV deals. Even if you're up for one season, you go down, you're guaranteed to pick up at least 100 million alone just from the TV from that season.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. I was reading that when Huddersfield got relegated, they even got like 80 million.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I think they just get more support, like you said, compared to the other leagues. All the other teams just get more support from the revenue. And I was looking at the quote unquote 5 European leagues. And the revenue of the Premier League is like triple La Liga now. I think it's the prediction. This is only a prediction, but the prediction of the end of this year is 6.2 billion euros, which sounds crazy, but like La Liga is only 3.7, and the bottom is France with 2.3. So you can kind of see how not even the big six, just all the clubs in general, they just have a massive audience, and it's just exciting to see.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that it's being run, this is why I think this is why the English teams are going to continue to dominate now in Europe, because it's going to the point where having money in England isn't going to get you that guaranteed success anymore. You sort of look at Arsenal and even like the Evertons and all that now, who are spending quite a bit of money in the last five years, and they're coming absolutely nowhere in the lead. Whereas you look at, I mean, I know, but it's true. Where you look at like clubs in Spain, and this is why I think they're starting to throw their toys out of the pram a little bit, because back 10 years, 15 years ago, Real Madrid can just spend a bit of money here and there, and then the trophies will follow. money in the Premier League, obviously it sounds a bit weird. It doesn't always guarantee success. It's more down to now the way the clubs are run. Obviously, if you look at Man City, who's at the pinnacle at the moment, obviously they've got a ridiculous amount of money and they've spent an insane amount. They can literally buy themselves a £500 million defence if they need it. But the way the clubs run in every department is what really takes City up to a much higher level than, say, Man United have spent nearly just as much as Man City, you know? And so
yeah.
I think with the amount of money being distributed around the clubs, it's making them realise we can't try and outspend our opponents. We can't poach someone from another team anymore. It's hard to do. We need to make sure that the clubs are run properly. And I think it's starting to show now. It's taken a while, but I think it's starting to show just how well run some of these clubs are, like the Man Cities and the Chelseas, and to an extent that you're starting to see it from West Ham and stuff like that, who are their owners were criticised, but now the way they've got the way they're set up, they could potentially be playing Champions League football.
I know, it's a bit crazy.
and again, that's another reason why, though, the Premier League is becoming such a it is the most watched league in the world, and that's why there's so much money being generated, because you've got a team like West Ham that's fighting for a Champions League spot. Yeah,
no, you're right, and it goes back to how old-fashioned like the other leagues are with their teams anyway. Like Barcelona is a good example. They're a club that spends a lot of money, but those players haven't performed as well as people thought they would. Like, you see Coutinho and Dembele, they have not been great compared to the other greats Barcelona have had. And obviously Messi was frustrated a while ago. He was talking about the team publicly. He's obviously their star player. So if your star player is frustrated with that, you can see that their system needs a change as well.
Well, it just comes back to the way these clubs are being run. In these historic European clubs, you can argue that not a lot of them are being run as efficiently and as effectively as the teams being run in England now. Obviously, it's a bit rich with the American owners at Arsenal and whatnot. But overall, the English clubs are sort of being run pretty well in terms of the success they're bringing and how they're spending their money. It comes back to when you bring up Barcelona, in the last few years, they've absolutely butchered the way the club's being run now.
No, they have.
The signings they're making.
Ridiculous.
Like, I watched the match the other day, a few weeks ago, when it was PSG versus Barcelona, right? It was Pochettino versus Koeman. Both these managers were all right in the Premier League, but I just couldn't help but think both these managers managed Southampton, and now they're managing two of the biggest European clubs. You know? Whilst we've got Pep Guardiola and the Tuchels and the Klopps and all that managing these big clubs, you know, we've got arguably the best coaches in football right now, all in the Premier League.
Yeah, and the players are following that as well. Like I think the players are looking at that as like Barcelona. Like, all of these clubs are so old-fashioned now. I think like England is always changing, always moving forward. Like even with like Rodriguez coming to Everton. Like, you would never think that Rodriguez will come to Everton, but I feel like
Carlo Ancelotti managing them as well, another world-class manager.
Yeah, exactly.
Managing Everton, for fuck's sake.
I know. It makes no sense. In paper, it makes no sense, but like, it's interesting to see. It's definitely the change that's needed, and we're probably being biased here, but I do feel like England is going to remain dominant for a while.
Yeah, we're going into a period of... Yeah, I mean, it happens, though. It comes to a period of Spain. Since 2010, 2011, the Champions League's been won 6 times by Spanish clubs, whilst only 2 English clubs have won it in that period, you know? I mean, in between 2013 and 2017, 5 finals, there wasn't 1 English club appearance in those 5 finals. Now, in the last 4 finals, we've had 4 English clubs appear already. And that includes City and Chelsea coming up. And I think the way the Premier League's set up and just the general football pyramid, it's set up to succeed at this point, because like, you even look at something like in 2007, the 2016-2017 season, the Championship was the 3rd most attended league in Europe. The Championship.
Really?
It had 11 million attendance. Bundesliga was second at 12.7, the Premier League was 13.6. So the Championship, England's second-tier division, was bringing in more spectators at matches than La Liga, Serie A and League One. And I
we
think
English love our football.
We love the football, and that's the bit. And because there's so much money involved in the Premier League now, it's such a good investment to get a hold of a Premier League club and get them into the Premier League that you've got that motivation to invest in all that. You're not having to worry about a team like Real Madrid or Barca who are just going to buy your top players and take all the money.
Take all the money, yeah.
Yeah, I think for the other European countries to start combating this, they need to look at how they can make their own products, their own leagues, more interesting to watch.
No, you're right, and I think they just need more investors in general. I think investors only look at the like a couple of teams from the other European leagues, where in England there's so many possibilities that can happen, and obviously they're gonna go with the ones that will give them more opportunity. Well, so that's why they just need more. They need to sort out their management of the money, basically.
Well, it's going to the point where if you were a billionaire, Dill, you're probably better off trying to buy yourself a championship team and getting them into the Premier League, rather than trying to buy a La Liga team, knowing that you're not going to get a smidge of as much money as Barca and Real Madrid are going to get, because they've literally monopolised the league for themselves. Whilst here, in England, it's gone from a top 2 in Man United and Arsenal to a top 4 with Chelsea and Liverpool to a top 6 with Spurs and who's the other one? Man City. And now, I mean, it's mainly because Arsenal are on the decline, but it's going to be like a top 8 now with freaking Leicester and West Ham coming into it. So like, every team is just getting better and better, and I think it's just gonna.
No, you're right.
It's just gonna happen across Europe, where I'm not gonna be surprised if we see like teams in the. I mean, I know you lot didn't get into the Europa League final, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see the English teams appearing in these late stages and in the finals in the near future. I think this is going to be in the next 5 seasons at least. I think the English teams are going to really dominate football.
Definitely. No, absolutely. I mean, we saw glimpses of that when Leicester won the league. Like, I think that was one of the first signs that England is going to dominate for a while. And I don't know if we're being biased here.
No, I don't think we are. I think it's going to get to the point where you might get other Europeans saying, English is ruined football, but like I said, no one was complaining when you had Real Madrid and Barca mop up the Champions League for the last 10
That's
years
true.
now. I genuinely think that the way the Premier League's been run how it's been run in the last 20 plus years now, with the money being evenly distributed and how they make such an exciting product worldwide, unless the Italians, the French and the Germans, well, not necessarily the Germans, but the Spanish leagues really start thinking about how they can make their product as interesting. I think this is going to be an interesting decade for the English clubs.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.